Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Man, I can't even get too joyful doing this story because this story is sad. Sad, sad, sad. Recently on SouFLoTV, I talked to the Caribbean diaspora people living in the United States of America, and I said, don't be lulled to sleep by this false sense of security because it goes down and it can happen at any minute. You know, we do a lot of crime stories and shooting stories out of, say, Jamaica, for example, right? But right where we live, it goes down in mass massacre. At least 19 children and 2 adults are dead after a school shooting in a Texas elementary school. 19 students. Imagine sending your child to school to learn, and you said, okay, at 4 o'clock today, I'm going to go pick little Joey up, or I'm going to go pick up little Keisha after school, or they're going to take the school bus home. And your child went to school this morning well dressed. Bye, mommy. Bye, daddy. And you will never see your child again, except at a funeral or to identify your child at a morgue. At least 19 children and 2 teachers are dead after a shooting at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas on Tuesday. And this is according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. An incident that President Biden described as carnage as he calls for lawmakers to act. I keep hearing them saying lawmakers need to act. I don't know what they need to act about. I need to go do some more research. I'm guessing it has to do with the gun laws. And I'm guessing they want guns like AR-15 rifles and these kinds of guns to be banned. But in the United States of America, you have a group of people that have fashioned this another way. If you ban those guns, it means that you're trying to take their guns and you're trying to take their freedom. You're trying to disarm them so that when tyranny comes from the government, they will not be able to defend themselves. So they have vowed to fight to the death, not to give up their guns. The tragedy in Uvalde, about 90 minutes west of San Antonio, if you're wondering where this is located, it comes just days after another mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, and amid a rapid rise in active shooter incidents in the country. When parents drop their kids off at school, right, they have this expectation that they're going to be able to pick up their kids after school when the school day ends. And there are families who are mourning today because that won't be happening today. This is Greg Abbott, Texas governor, who is very much with the shits as far as the gun laws goes. The state of Texas is in mourning with them. You know, politicians, they come out, they say the whole squishy cliche stuff. We are in mourning, we send our condolences, raise the flag and fly it at half-staff for these brave little heroes. Those kids weren't heroes, they were victims, in my words. The students killed were mainly 3rd graders and 4th graders, my friend. And I want you to let that sink in. 19. And I saw on another report that it says 21 have died. Maybe that's the 19 children and the 2 adults. But imagine 19 children, mostly 3rd graders and 4th graders. The last day of school for the school year. You know how children get happy on the last day of school? It's like, yes, summer is here. We're going to go have fun. And then this? Before you could leave the school, you die in the school on the last day of school. This is tragic. The students killed were mostly 3rd graders and 4th graders, according to ABC News. Now, according to law enforcement sources, among them was a little girl named Emery Jo Garza. She just celebrated her 10th birthday 2 weeks ago, according to her father, whose name is Angel. Angel said, "My little love is now flying high with the angels above." This is what he wrote in a statement to ABC News. He said, "Please don't take a second for granted. Hug your family. Tell them that you love them. I love you, Amarie Joe." You know, it takes tragedy like these sometimes for us to sit and reflect and just think about life and to remember that those who we love, we need to tell them we love them while they're here. We take so much for granted. We see our family members walk out the door, Monday morning, and you think, I'll tell him I love him another time. I'll hug her another time. And then tragedy strikes, and you realize you will never be able to tell that person I love you again with them hearing it and them accepting it. You're going to be saying I love you to yourself. You're going to be saying I love you over a body. You're going to be saying I love you at a funeral or over a gravesite, but never to that person again. Life is fragile. Life can be snuffed out really quickly. We as human beings are fragile. Even the ones who think they're tough. The 18-year-old suspect, Salvador Ramos, that's the guy that shot up the school. He's a student, actually, at the Uvalde High School. He's a high school student, and he's also dead. The governor of Texas said that Ramos shot and killed horrifically and incomprehensibly. Sources said that the gunman first shot his grandmother at a separate scene. And initially, authorities had said that the grandmother was dead. But later they reported that the grandmother was actually alive, but she was in critical condition at the local hospital. Now, here's what happened. According to news sources and law enforcement sources, he shot his grandmother at home first. Then he got away from the house. He crashed his car. As he was speeding, he crashed his car outside of the school, the elementary school where he shot. And he emerged from that car with an AR-15 style rifle. This is according to multiple news sources. Authorities have recovered the rifle. One report said that he had multiple rifles. I don't know if that's true, but this report is saying that he had one rifle and he was wearing body armor. Now, see, when this happened before, right, what they chose to do to fix this was to put police officers, actual police officers, not security guards, because our schools in America have always had security guards ever since, even when I was younger, and that was eons ago, right? So they started putting armed police officers in the schools. But here's the problem. They put one armed police officer in a school that has 500 students, and he is situated usually at the front of the school. Well, I see problems with this because, for one, there are other entranceways into a school. And also, what if the gunman challenges the police officer and the police officer loses the challenge? The gunman then still gets to enter the school, as did happen in this case. As the suspect approached the school, this officer at this school in particular engaged the suspect immediately outside of the building, but he shot the officer, and then he gained entrance to the school. After that, the suspect entered the school and opened fire, killing 18 students who were mainly 3rd and 4th graders, as well as one teacher who actually threw herself between the gunman and her students, trying to shield her students. Now that teacher is a hero, but damn it, she lost her life. In most cases, the teachers are running. And don't think most teachers are gonna dive in between an AR-15 rifle going off and your student. It takes a heart of gold to say, don't shoot the kids and run in the way when it's not your kids. Most people are thinking, I want to go home to my kids. I'm sorry you have to lose yours. So this is a hero. So these politicians that are calling these little babies heroes that died, they were victims. But they don't want to use the word victims in the news media because it sounds really bad. Another person said to me, SouFlo, you know that he got killed at the scene, right? But you notice when the shooters are white, they are taken into custody. They don't get killed at the scene. Even when they try to get police to kill them, even when they barricade themselves for hours, unless it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound and they decide to commit suicide, they're taken into custody alive. But this was a Hispanic. So black and brown shooters die. White shooters get taken into custody. That's not my opinion. That's what was said to me. He traded gunfire with the ISD officer and Border Patrol tactical units, and a number of whom have children who attend that school as well. The Border Patrol agent responded to the law enforcement request for assistance because that is a border town. Uvalde is a border town. It is so close to Mexico that most of the officers there are actually Border Patrol officers. So the Border Patrol officers there ran away from their duties, ran over to the school to help the police officers when they heard mass shooting going on. Now here's the thing. A lot of them also have children that attend this school. A fourth grader student who was inside the school at the time described what happened in an interview with ABC News, right? And it said that the student said, this is a fourth grader describing this, and the fourth grader said that we heard banging on the window and then the teacher saw the shooter. She said, oh my God, there's a gun. And then she said it was like a big one. Like, that's a big gun he has. Hurry up, get on the floor. We just hear all kinds of gunshots going off, like non-stop, like constantly gunshots. And then we're over here all scared. We were on the ground fearing for our lives, is how a fourth grader described this. Multiple social medias interviewed by ABC News said that the accused shooter reportedly sent videos and photos and of guns to other users on various social media sites. Law enforcement has been made aware of and is reviewing screenshots of these messages from the suspect's Instagram. Now here's the thing. They're also saying if Instagram was more worried about saving children and lives than they were about banning the wrong people or closing down the wrong accounts, if you know what I mean, then they would have caught this, because he pretty much put up a manifesto and pictures of guns and ammunition in clips before doing this. I don't know how effective that might have been, because people post all kinds of stuff on IG all the time. So Uvalde Memorial Hospital initially received 13 students, right, as patients. 2 of them died immediately and 3 were transferred to San Antonio for treatment, the hospital said. The condition of the others was not immediately clear. A 45-year-old who was also hospitalized after getting grazed by a bullet did not die. That person was also an officer. The officer was grazed by the bullet. The bullet did not penetrate. I think that officer thought he was shot, so he stopped engaging the suspect who was shooting. People are wondering, what's this about? I'll tell you what it's about. According to the shooter's friend, childhood friend, his childhood friend says he has a speech impediment that he's had since childhood. And people teased him mercilessly about his speech impediment because it was so bad. He also had a messed up home life. So with the bullying, he was bullied at school and he was teased, and he didn't have much friends. And with the bullying and the teasing and then hardship at home, I mean, he killed his grandmother of all people. You know, not too many people are willing to do violence to their grandmother. My grandmother bust my ass, and I still couldn't find it in myself to even think about hurting her. You know, so it probably kind of gives you an idea, and we still haven't heard anything about the suspect's mother or father as yet. Is grandma raising him? Is his mother or father deported, dead, in prison, non-existent? Was he adopted? We don't know. So far, we just know that his friend, his childhood friend, said he was angry. And he bought these guns soon as he turned 18, which was a few weeks ago. Soon as he turned 18, that's the law. You're able to go purchase your weapon. I've told people this before. I had illegal guns at 14. But by the time I was 18, and I only carried illegal guns to protect myself. I never committed a crime with it, obviously. But I was always scared that I would be caught by law enforcement and sent to juvenile jail or prison. And as soon as I turned 18, I got rid of those illegal guns and I purchased my gun legally. Now, some people are going to say the age to purchase a gun is too young. Some people are going to say people need to have a psychological evaluation before they are allowed to own a firearm. Other people are going to say we need to get rid of certain firearms, the ones that hold big clips with lots of bullets. People are going to say all kinds of stuff. I will wait to hear what you have to say in the comment section below. Don't forget though, man, the most important part is hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them, even when you don't feel like it. After you tell them you love them, you'll be glad that you did. After you give them a hug, you'll be glad that you did. Because we live in a world that is this crazy. And there's so much going on around us right now. We just came out of a pandemic. We just had different strains of this corona COVID thing going around. And when we thought it was almost over, a new strain came that was supposed to be stronger or more easier to catch than the one before. And now we're worried about monkeypox, and we're worried about all kinds of other stuff. And now we're worried about mass shootings in our schools. And not that it hasn't happened before, but on the magnitude that this one happened, this is probably one of the biggest ones so far. 19 young lives, mostly 3rd and 4th graders. Let that sink in. Have a wonderful day. Say a word of prayer, stay strong, and I'll catch you on the next video. For my people who tune in all the time, shout out to, I call them my green people, because when I go live, their name pops up in green because they're paid members and supporters of this platform. I told you before, I'll be on the road for 1 week. We'll be going live from different locations, so keep your notification on. I'm traveling right now. I'm in a hotel bathroom right now, just outside of Florida. So the sound might sound a bit weird, but just know that I still have y'all in my heart and in my prayers, okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. One love. Peace.